Hi, welcome to another episode of MYD Global. I'm your host, Leanne Hackman-Carty. After disaster, opening a facility can have its own unique challenges. Think about COVID and what's going to happen when facilities need to make the decision on how to re-enter them and how to reopen them. In this episode, I talked to Josh Bowen, who's with the Center for Applied Disaster and Emergency Management, about a new guide that they've released. It's a post-COVID-19 facility reentry guide. So stay tuned as I talk to him about some of the things you're going to have to think about when you reopen your facility. And his resource is a valuable one for you to take a look at. So stay tuned. Hey, Josh, thanks for talking to me today about your new guide.
Thanks so much for having me back, Leanne. It's great.
Oh, well, I saw recently, it was just a few days ago actually, you guys released this post COVID-19 facility reentry guide. Can you tell me a little bit about why you developed it?
One of the big questions that we've been hearing from all different sectors of the economy is, yes, we're going to reopen, but how? What does that look like? What are the new cleaning protocols? How does this impact HR? How does this impact how we actually enter our facilities and have clients come to meetings face to face? How do we have customers come in? So we sort of took a step back and said, right, what are all of the things that you need to consider from planning to come back through to bringing your staff back in, through to bringing customers and clients back in. And so laid out a plan and laid out sort of a checklist and guide for questions to ask and things to consider that was facility agnostic. So whether it's a small street corner cafe or whether it's a large university campus, how do you then come back?
That's great. And I know you made a distinction in the guide, the reopening versus the re-entry piece. So are there certain considerations to be made in each of those elements?
Absolutely. So we staged it in two different ways. The first is talking about re-entry. So coming back to your facility, making sure that everything to support your staff is in place, and that's everything from um, you know water fountains on a university campus or a large building are used to having so much water flow through, so there's chlorine and chemicals going through to make sure that they're clean. That hasn't happened for 8 weeks now, or longer in some places. So how do you ensure that all those things that need to be checked and the life safety pieces are in place so that people can come back and carry on with their normal day? And that also includes human resources issues. How do you put the pieces in place to support your employees? And then we talked about reopening, which is really bringing your clients back in, whether virtually or physically into the space, but being set and really able to provide the service or produce the product that you do.
So when I think, going forward, say people are open, businesses are back to normal, facilities are now operating again. What are some of the things that you think are going to change as a result of COVID, as far as how facilities are operated?
I think a few different ways that things are going to be operating. There's going to be a more flexible work environment. And I think really what that means is that you look and say who has to be on site to perform the function that they function and who can be away. So that actually will reduce the number of people per square foot that you've got in your facility. And so we'll be able to see more of a flexible work environment for a lot of people. And in those environments where we actually have people that need to be there, things like restaurants and university campuses and things like that, we'll actually see scheduling different where that can be done to accommodate clients, but we'll also see increased space for people to be able to sit and to have that distancing.
I think in North America, that's probably going to be an easier sell than in places like Asia and India. I mean, I think we're used to space. And so space is cool to us. But some places, this is going to be a challenge where they have very minimal footprint to put some of this stuff in place.
Absolutely. And I think that's really where we need to look and say, right, what are the risks that are present? How do we have the appropriate PPE in place? So the masks and things like that, and gloves, and have the appropriate hand sanitizing, and then space people out in lines where you can, as much as you can. So it's really going to be a combination of reimagining your facility at the same time as reimagining the way that you interact with people, whether that's your staff or whether that's your clients that are coming in. And what other measures can we put in place, from gloves and face masks to making sure that there's hand sanitizer available at entrances before people come into the store.
That's great. So I will put a link to your guide because I know it's available for download. So I'll put it there so people can use this as a guide as they plan their reentry, their reopening, because I think it's a great tool. Is there anything else before we wrap up that you wanted to mention that I perhaps didn't ask?
The guide is there for people to use, and one of the things that we're looking at doing is building on it and improving it. So if there are sector specific considerations that aren't included in there, we'll look at adding in appendices. So anybody who has any feedback, please feel free to get in touch. All the details are in the guide on how to do that, and we're always looking to continually improve it.